the next day is never guaranteed. I could die tonight, God forbid. But that's why you just gotta appreciate the little things, the people who care with you, fuck with you, rock with you, from the big things, to waking up every morning. And I'm trying to expand my life with God. It'll come sooner than later, but just gotta give glory to the man above who provides all of this shit in my eyes.
This is Sad Boy Radio.
What's the word, everybody? Welcome back to Sad Boy Radio. I'm your host, Matt, and today we got a very special guest here. Man, this man seems like he's always on the move. He crashed a Lambo. It was a Lambo, right?
Corvette.
It was a Corvette. Damn, hey, close enough, bro. That shit. And not even in the state, right? It was Vegas. Often he's found on stage with Famous Dex. You see him at Summer Smash, just throwing water at people. Man. And the last time I think I seen you, I think you finished like 12 bottles of champagne at Y2K.
Oh, that was crazy.
Go ahead and introduce yourself, man.
I go by the name of HBK Langston. HBK stands for Heartbreak Kid. Worldwide club promoter, party host, anything in that aspect. Concert plug, festival plug.
Calling yourself a plug and you never plug me, bro.
I
tell you every time, I'm like, bro, you got some tickets? You're like, nah, bro, $500. I'm gonna have to charge you for this interview, dog.
Man. I got you soon. I got you.
So, first of all, what happened with the fucking video to the Corvette, bro?
So, the pictures I got on my Instagram with where I'm about to welcome to Las Vegas on. It's like 11:30 a.m. I'm not even drunk, nothing. This is my birthday, so it was like on a Monday. Pulling out the lot, and I want to see how fast it goes. I'm feeling good, new state. It's my birthday. Got some money in my pocket, whatever. And I get it up to like 160, and it's like an old ass man. He came out of nowhere.
You swerved not to hit him?
He damn near ran into me, but it was my fault because I was going so fast. And I was devastated.
You had insurance on the car, bro?
I did. I had State Farm. I used my personal insurance, but State Farm kicked me off. So it fucked up the shit I got going on at home, all because of that Corvette.
Why'd you use your personal insurance? That was the first problem.
It was like easier and quicker. They was like, oh, you got insurance or do you want to use ours? I was like, I got my shit. They was charging like more money if I used theirs. So.
And bro, come on, you gotta know better than that, especially on a Corvette. Any little scratch, ding, whatever it is, bro, they be charging you.
It was total, too. I was devastated. I was like, get this on film.
What's your insurance look like now, bro?
I got Geico. I just bought a Tesla a week ago. So.
No, but I'm saying like that shit taxed now.
Oh, man. That shit is more than the note.
That's what happens when you be crashing Corvettes, bro.
I'll never forget that day. It was a good birthday, but
But what happened to the video? Like, why can't I find that shit on YouTube no more?
We just do like films. We're going to start dropping like longer videos. But it's just a recap. I didn't even want no whole YouTube video on that. That shit was fucking with me mentally. When I flew back home, I couldn't stop thinking about that crash. Like, damn, it was my birthday and everything.
Shit could have turned out a lot worse, bro. 160?
Big time.
How did you guys walk away okay?
I slammed on the brakes. It was hot as hell that day. It was like 100 that day. Slammed on the brakes, minor injuries, and the accident happened on his side of the door.
Oh, so you guys got ran into.
So yeah, he was merging onto the expressway I was already on. Them Vegas streets are weird.
So what were you doing out in Vegas in the first place, right? It's your birthday. Did you have a club that you had to promote?
I was hosting, I believe, it was a pool party. It was the Cosmopolitan. They have that's a beautiful hotel, 5-star. They have day pool parties, night pool parties. I had an event out there, I think, the day before my birthday. And it was EDC weekend.
That shit was lit.
That's not even my type of vibe, but I fucked that heavy.
So party promotion, right? You've been doing this for a fat minute, bro. Like, I knew that name HBK Langston before I was doing Sad Boy Radio. Like, you've been doing this for a minute. We could take it back to Greek Monkey, right? That's who you were fucking with at that time?
Man, shout out Greek.
19, 20 years old, pre-pandemic. Like,
yeah.
You're a college student. You know what the fuck Greek Monkey is.
Exactly.
How did you get involved with them?
I threw a birthday party. I think I was turning 18 or 19. This is like my first major party. So I had everything planned like 2 months before the party. That went successfully. It was like crazy. House party, everybody got to start from somewhere. I started like in a house party scene. He DM'd me. He was like, let's work. And we just started rolling like that. His audience with my audience, it was like successful every weekend.
Was there a point where you were running your own promotion? What was the name?
The story behind HBK, y'all know Shawn Michaels,
Yeah.
WWE. That's the nickname. I used to fight with my brothers and shit growing up. So I'm like to fuck with him. So, but yeah, I mean, it got to a point where I would do my own shit. Sometimes collab with him, some other people. Just doing whatever to get my name out there. Make people have a good time.
So you're doing the Greek monkey thing. You're making your way up. Is this how you meet Drip?
You could say that. Drip's my guy. Shout out him.
Skinny Drip?
Man, skinny as hell. I met 85% of the people I know now being outside. They trying to spread their name. I'm trying to spread my name. That's my guy, though. Like, we became friends through that shit, but now it's more like a brotherhood with him.
So how important do you feel like it is to have relationships like those with Drip in a scene that pretty much prioritizes money and clout over certain relationships?
I feel like brotherhood is before anything. So like when we first met, it was like, yeah, I'll see you here, I'll see you there. But me and him, we built a bond so big. It was like, this is like really my brother now. Like he sleep over my house, we'll link every day, try new foods. We got some videos. We was gonna start a YouTube, but we got hella like unreleased footage just from back in the day being young college kids. But yeah, I mean, brotherhood before business for sure.
But why Drip? Why is build a relationship with somebody, there's multiple DJs out here. You could have chose anybody to start that type of relationship and continue to grow with them, right? Because you've seen Drip enter the club scene. You saw Drip go do his thing with V5, start his own night at what the fuck was it called?
Subalo Sunday.
Subalo Sunday. Like, you've been able to grow with him at all of those different types of levels. And now you've taken this to different states, right? Eventually it's going to go international. So what was the connection you found with Drip that you felt like, hey, this could continue to grow?
I feel like we just had a lot in common, He's same age, same grade. We got like a whole bunch of the same interest. And it's just like the vibe, like he just gives off a better vibe than some of these other people. And how some shit just connect. We just built that connection. Shout out Spaz, shout out Squeeze. They doing their shit, shout out Ines. They all cool too. I fuck with them heavy. But yeah, I mean, with me, it's all about the vibe. If I connect with you, you connect with me. We can do stuff outside of, going to the clubs, this, that, this. I don't see no issue in the friendship.
Seeing this at all different types of levels, what do you feel like's the craziest thing that you've experienced throughout this?
It was my first time in Phoenix. One of my guys, he was opening up for Lil Durk. Shout out him. His name's Sir Jam. I don't know if you heard of him, but shout out him. I was going out there supposedly hosting, but a lot of shit didn't go through. So it's like 24 hours to the date. And I just got to start, figuring shit out. With the help of my homies, y'all know who y'all is. Shout out y'all. Drip was there too. He DJ'd it. We sold out a mansion in a state none of us have ever been to before. And helicopters had to shut the party down. It was like insane. The West Coast has a whole different type of club / party scene.
How did you guys even get that many people to shut down a mansion
so
in a state you never been to? I'm gonna need some more energy, bro. Like, you're really like timid right now. Like, if you want people to care about this shit, you got to put some energy into it, bro.
Yeah, so we had like the little flyers. He cut it out. And at the concert, we just started passing them out to random people. And after the concert, we went back to the mansion. I got the mansion through my homie. My cousin lives in Arizona. And then when we pulled back up to the mansion, it was already like a line of like 300 people. That shit was insane. The party went on for like 2 hours. And then we go outside. It's helicopters shining like the lights on like the mansion. And that was just like a totally like full circle moment. Like, wow, I just sold out a mansion with the help of my homies in a state none of us have ever been to.
So as a promoter, how do you find ways to grow your following, right? Because right now, your Instagram sits at about like 4, right? About 4,000. But you've been doing this for so long.
My account actually got hacked. I was close to 10 on my old Instagram. This is maybe like 2017, 2018. Me and my homie, his name Draco, shout out Draco, we used to make viral videos. Like he would we would run inside a restaurant. He would stand on the table, dance, like 5-star restaurant, just like imagine a whole bunch of formal shit. He was standing there, dancing shit. I did my fair share of viral shit. My shit got hacked along with my YouTube. My shit got hacked. But I mean, I feel like everybody who follows me, they support what I do. And I feel like that's what's most important in this industry. If you have a system that supports you, I don't really see it's no way of losing.
Around that time, that's the time you grew a relationship with Dex, or how did that come about?
Connections is the most important thing. Connections and relationships is the most important thing in anything in life. Um, I used to be cool with his former DJ. He goes by the name of DJ Sean. I met him 2017. Dex had a performance. This is when Dex was hot, like hot. Met him, locked in with him, and I met Dex through that way. Just being around. Dex's former DJ used to take care of me. You know, he's a little older. I was younger. I was still 18, 19.
You couldn't buy a bottle.
Yeah, I was young as hell.
How do you end up on stage with him at Summer Smash, not 1, but 2 years in a row?
So with Dex's camp, shout out Day Day. You know Day Day. Shout out his barber, Easy. He's a hairstylist. Just me being around all his people, you know, they kind of brought me in as like family. So now every time when Dex comes around, it's like, oh yeah, you know, like Dex he's the type where he just has to ease his way into you. And after he sees your face so many times, this, you know, he'll be like, oh yeah, you good, this. Yeah, I mean, honestly, just being around them, me and Dex built a nice bond, you know. I text him time to time. I'm going to New York next month, so I'll probably see him there.
What's he do now outside of music?
He does a lot of features. He's dropping an album soon, so we'll see when that comes out. He drops a lot of singles and shit, you know, just trying to get back to where he was. He's doing a lot better now. He was going through some problems in the past years, but he's getting back on the right path, so that's good for him.
You touch on Dex, somebody who has publicly been faced with certain issues, right? A lot of the times that stem from being in the public eye. For you being involved in this nightlife industry, again, it's an industry that prioritizes having a good time over mental well-being, over physical well-being. What are some of the issues you've seen yourself facing because of this industry?
2019, 2020, I was getting in clubs before I was 21, but I never had a big drug addiction. I don't do any types of drugs. I smoked weed back 2019, 2020. And I felt like, honestly, that was my biggest issue. I was smoking weed maybe constantly for like a month or two, and I just couldn't focus on anything. Like I would wake up, smoke, eat, smoke, go to sleep. No productivity at all. So now that I'm older, my mind's more mature. I try to stress to people, you don't need certain drugs to have a good time, you know? You know, alcohol is cool, whatever you want to do, but that's honestly been the biggest positive for me, knowing that I don't need drugs and I can go out and handle business, you know, and still have a successful night.
What do you feel like was the moment that made you realize that, right? Because there's always this kind of like epiphany that people face, right? When they're doing something too much that's affecting their ability to be productive. So for me, right, at 19, 20 years old, there's this idea that you have to be drinking, you have to be smoking, you have to be doing all these things to have a good time, right? You fall into this hole of trying to find who you are, so you drown yourself with all these things that people tell you is a good time, and then eventually you get lost in it until you realize, like, this isn't good for me. What was that moment for you?
Just sitting back watching my surroundings. Somebody once told me you're a product of your environment. So say I have a group of homies who would do the same shit I just explained, you know, smoke, just sit around, you know, not really doing anything with themselves that I seen. I feel like I always been different. I just couldn't sit around smoke, you know. I have goals I want to achieve in this life. I have countries I want to visit. I have new foods I want to try, this, this. So just, you know, just seeing what my surrounding fellow peers were doing, I just had to shift off and create a better vibe for myself and my family.
So how did you see those mental effects start to manifest in a physical way?
Just from everyday habits, you know. I feel like habits are easy, addictions are easy, but I think everything in this life is breakable. Change is breakable. Say you had a big drug habit. If you mentally really wanted to change that, you could, you know. Your mind is stronger than your habit, than your addiction. Just being motivated, you know. Goals. I set goals and I try my best to achieve them. That just made me realize, like, God put me on this planet to achieve something, not just to, waste my life, sit around and do those type of things. You know what I'm saying?
So what do you feel like you're chasing with this party promotion stuff, right? Because that's like a very ambitious career path to choose.
Knowing what this career has brought me, I built connections, like I said, relationships, bonds. My end goal is before I'm 30, I want to open up my own club. That's my end goal. And I want that club to be a chain in multiple cities,
Do you feel like that's gonna make you happy at the end of the day, though?
big time. Knowing everything I put into this shit, I was scraping up change legit as a 17, 18, 19, 20-year old trying to fly out to other cities, not knowing anybody just to meet connections in the club. Like that shit crazy to think about. Like I was legit scraping up money to be able to afford a flight, let's say to LA. I go to a club in LA, maybe bring a friend with me. I just talk to whoever I can, just build as many connections and relationships I can. So yeah, I think knowing everything I put in this, all the money, all the time, all the effort, that's legit my end goal. I feel like I'll be happy with the mark I left on the nightlife industry.
Talking to people is a skill that you develop, right? Not everybody has that, and not everybody can develop it. So how did you realize, like, hey, this is how I need to approach certain people in different cities?
I went to multiple different high schools. So my mom always told me she feel like she can leave me in a crowd of 1 million people for like 7 days straight and I'll make it out just fine. So just being inside the different cities, different cultures, knowing the different types of music they play, that just helped me adapt to being who I am today inside this nightlife industry. Because you're right, not everybody can, be a people's person. Not everybody can do this, do that. But just everything I went through, I just combine that all. I just combine that all together, and it helps me from a mental standpoint be able to talk to these type of crowds, these type of crowds. So
And there was a time briefly where you had a different career, right?
I do part time security, um, but yeah, I started with that, but that didn't go afloat. And I think it's okay to have multiple ways of income. Like I still do stuff on the side, but this is what I want to do. This is what I'm happy doing. I love traveling to different cities, meeting different people.
Were you still promoting while you were doing that shit?
I take a break. I feel like taking breaks in anything, jobs, life, careers. That's the most important part. You got to keep your mental health.
You took a break from the party promotion. So why go back?
You always got to try something from foods to whatever, visiting places. You got to try it. That way you'll know if you like it or not. I tried it. It wasn't for me. And that's when I truly knew what my real passion was.
You have this idea of there's something that's going to make you happy and there's something that's going to fulfill you. And you chase it for so long, especially with what you were doing. There's a process. You get to that end goal and it's like, this isn't really what I wanted. I just like the idea of what it could have provided me. And for you, I feel like that idea was kind of this stability, right? Because as a party promoter, there's not really that stability in life. There's a lot of money you can make. There's a lot of fun times, but at the same time, like nothing is guaranteed. So you chase this thing that provides you with a sense of like, okay, I'll be okay. And for you, right, there's this idea that I got to provide for my future. I got to provide for the people that I came up with. Why do you feel like you needed this sense of stability? Where do you feel like that idea stemmed from?
When I made that shift in my life, I really didn't know what my true calling was. I was like, oh, let me try this, let me try that. You know what I'm saying? But once I actually tried those things and I seen how it would be, it just wasn't for me. That's why when I say the end goal in all of this is to open up a club, I'm trying to provide generational wealth for my kids, my parents. God forbid they'll still be alive, but, that's my main goal. If I didn't see that this shit could take me so far, I would have stopped this shit at, 21, 22.
You moved from Memphis over to here. You went to 3 different high schools in the span of 3 years?
Yeah, 3 years.
Do you feel like that contributed to your need for stability?
Big time. Like a lot of people who I know, they grew up in the same house for 20, 21 years. Me, I was on the move. I moved, I think, in the past 8 years, I moved probably 8 times, 7, 8 times. So when you move so much, when you get put inside all these different environments, you're still trying to find yourself. I don't want to say necessarily you're still trying to fit in, but it's like you're trying to adapt to your environment. And I feel like that was my need for stability growing up. I went from the south side of Chicago to the north side, which I'd never been on prior to moving. Just all these different types of cultures, foods, areas. That was my need for stability. I wanted to cope with that, with the surroundings that were brought against me.
What was the cultural setting you were placed in that you had the toughest time adapting to?
I would say moving from the south side to the north side. It's two totally different places, two totally different cultures.
Especially Taft.
That shit was crazy. Like I never seen, respectfully, I never seen like I didn't know what a Puerto Rican was. I didn't know what an Arab was. All these different cultures, ethnicities.
Weren't those all your friends too?
Nah. I feel like I always had like a mixed crowd. I never seen anything like that. So you take a kid who's, I went to Taft junior year. You take a kid who's known nothing but, I would say, black and white race. You put him inside this area with all these diverse ethnicities. That was a big jump.
Taft's one of the most diverse high schools you could be at. So when you go, like you say, you go from Simeon to Taft, that's a big culture shock. It's not like, I don't even know. And for you coming from Memphis, right? I don't even know what you grew up in out there. So break that down for us, right? What's one of those experiences in Memphis that has continuously followed you throughout your life?
That, I would say, like the South, that just taught me like family over everything. If my friends don't got my back at the end of the day, family does. So that was big growing up. Just spending time with them, from the little memories to the big memories.
What do you feel like is an experience you had out there though that really like shaped you to who you are?
I seen a lot of crazy shit.
Break it down for us, bro. I'm gonna have to be like that Whoops guy, fucking FYBJ name, bro. I'm gonna have to start talking to you like that, bro.
I would say from like
let's start there.
He funny as fuck. Man, I done seen this from like a kid. I done seen from Chicago and Memphis. I done seen people shooting themselves up. I done seen drive-bys, and that shit had like a mental impact on me just from like such a young age. And to this day, rest in peace, my friend, he passed 2 weeks ago. I feel like ever since a young age, I've been dealing with death. You know what I'm saying? And that's always not easy as a kid. Ever since I was 13, 14, I done had homies who died, family members who died. That's life. But it's just like, just to deal with all of that from such a young mindset, that shit, that hurts.
Because it's something that you got to get accustomed to early on in life. And not everybody goes through that. There's this Ed Sheeran song called End of Youth, and he talks about how the end of your youth really starts the minute that you have to deal with those adult hardships, such as death, right? Because that's the moment everything in life changes. That's the moment you realize, like, hey, death is a real thing that occurs. Like, you always know growing up, like, oh, you lose people. But once you experience that and have to feel that for real, like, I'm never going to see this person again. Like, that's a reality that you have to face. And like he says, some people experience that at 3 years old. They lose a parent. Some people don't experience that until they're 30 years old. So your perspective of life changes completely once that happens to you.
From a young age, from the shit I was seeing from age 13, 14, I'm 24 now. It's just like, it just be like the little shit, the big shit. I think I changed the way I look at life every day.
How so?
Just from like tragedies could happen. I feel like the next day is never guaranteed. I could die tonight, God forbid. But that's why you just got to appreciate the little things, the people who care with you, fuck with you, rock with you, from the big things, to waking up every morning. And I'm trying to expand my life with God. It'll come sooner than later, but just got to give glory to the man above who provides all of this shit in my eyes.
Do you feel like that Corvette situation opened your eyes up to that more?
Big time. I could have died. And I've been in 3 car accidents. None of them were pretty. I could have died. But the Corvette, that was like, I need
you were going 160.
Man, that was the wake-up call in my life where you need to grow the fuck up. Big time. I was like, you're moving too fast. You're getting older. You just turned 23. You need to grow the fuck up. So I thank God for allowing me to survive and everything being okay throughout that. Internet had a field day with that shit. It was a lot of like, are you okays? But that shit was a meme, like overall. I kind of made it a meme though. Like you saw the pictures I dropped.
You did make it a meme. I was like, and that's the thing, like it's all about how you frame something, right? So like, had you made a sad ass post and been like, damn, I crashed a Corvette on my birthday, Like people would have been like, "Damn, you good?" Like they would have actually checked in, but because of the way you posted it and you made it a joke, where you're like, "Damn, crashed a Corvette on my 23rd birthday," like who's more lit type shit. Everybody probably hyped you up and was like, "Hell yeah!"
That's actually my most viewed reel. I think that's at almost 11K. That's actually my most viewed reel on Instagram.
Dealing with all of that, that moment opened up your eyes to the fact that like this shit is for real. Like I could go any second now. But when you first had to deal with that, how did it fundamentally change the way you viewed life in general?
When I started seeing some of my closest homies who like I built a bond with, they know my parents, I know their parents. We used to sleep together. And I feel like that's just the crazy thing about life. I don't lost some of my bestest friends to gunfire, car accidents, jail. It just viewed my life saying like you really only get one chance at this shit. You know what I'm saying? You gotta make the most of it and don't take life for granted. Everybody gets one shot at it. So that was honestly when I started seeing my homies get locked up, taking different routes. Maybe not the smartest decisions. Some of my homies dying. That really opened up my viewpoint on life. Where like, okay, I need to shift away, and I need to be the one who really puts on not only for my homies but for my family and for my future.
Is that why you feel the need to save everybody?
I would say I'm a leader. I bring my mom up again. Ever since I was a kid, I've always been a leader. Leader of like friend groups, whatever, organizations, whatever. I just feel like now that I'm older, I have the right mental mind state to be able to lead a group of individuals where we're all eating, everybody's financially stable, everybody can afford this, that, you know what I'm saying? I just feel like, in that point of aspect, I'm different. Um, and that's good. I think I get that from my mom. By the way, I love my mom.
Why do you feel like you need to be the one to save these people coming from similar circumstances as you? Because right in your message, you told me, I want to be able to provide for the people that come from similar circumstances. You want to be a figure for the future kids that are coming up to look up to you.
Growing up, I didn't make the smartest decisions, whether it was streets, like I said, smoking weed, just doing a whole bunch of shit that would get me sidetracked, you know, not on the correct lane. I just feel like if I can do it, I feel like I'm living proof. If I can do it, anybody can do it. You could take a kid from the hood, south side, west side, any city. If he was just to go under my wing for like a month, I just feel like he would view life so differently. I never thought that I would see myself, the 17-year-old, 18-year-old me, I never thought I'd see myself going city to city, getting paid to host in all these different clubs, meeting all these different people internationally either. So I just feel like if I can do it, anybody can do it.
Bro, what the fuck were you doing at 17, 18 that
I was just selling for a little bit, but that's fast money isn't the best money, you know. But that's the thing about life. You learn from your mistakes. Fast money won't get you a retirement fund. Fast money won't be able to take care of your kids, family. Just all this stuff that I learned from such a young age. Now that I know that I'm older, I just corrected myself, and now I feel like I'm on the totally right path to providing generational wealth for my kid that I have one day. My total vision, I don't want my kid to have to be out here struggling, trying to rake up money, the same way that I was in some aspects of life. You know what I'm saying? So just keeping my head on the right path, having I feel like the most important thing is having positive support system around you. That'll help you a lot. But like I said, if I can do it, anybody can do it. Because I come from a lot of bullshit.
came from Memphis and made a name for yourself in
It's
Chicago?
crazy to think about. It's crazy.
What really showed you that fast money wasn't the way to go?
Just seeing my homies, my surroundings, just seeing the way that they was, going out in some aspects, getting locked up. Shit. I've never been arrested. I'd have made the worst decisions where I could have been in jail right now. But that's life. But just seeing some of the routes that my homies was taking, I don't want to go down that route. Don't nobody want to be in jail. Don't nobody want to live check to check. Don't nobody want to do this. You know what I'm saying? So just after seeing like all the surroundings, all the bad things happening to the people around me, I don't want to do that. I had to steer off in a different direction. And this nightlife industry brought me happiness and a better life.
So there's one thing that I do want to leave you with, right? Because this idea that you need to save everybody, I think that it's a conversation I've had with a lot of different people from a lot of different walks of life. They all come to the realization of you can't save everybody. Everybody can't go, right? And I'm gonna quote another Ed Sheeran song because Ed Sheeran be having those life lessons for real. In the song Castle on the Hill, he talks about his friends and these people that he grew up with, the people that shaped him, the people that really showed him the type of person he wanted to be. And he breaks it down, right? One friend left to sell clothes, one works down by the coast, one had 2 kids but lives alone, one's brother overdosed. And he talks about all these situations and these hardships that people are going through. And some of it's not even hardships, but it's just reality. It's their life, right? This man's a fucking touring worldwide international superstar, but he's still got those friends that live everyday lives and they go through real life problems. So it's like he even knows, right? I can't save everybody. Everybody can't go. And although I wish I could save everybody, it's just not the reality.
Right. Big thing.
Now, for you going back to this nightlife thing, right? Because this has been your path. Everybody else chose something else. You chose this. This is what you love. This is your passion. This is provided for you and your people for a minute now. Do you feel like it's been an escape or it's been a savior for you?
Escape, big time. Just how I was touching on, my surrounding peers was doing, selling drugs, gang banging, doing whatever. It's been an escape. This was like the escape for me that would take me from like what they was doing to like a whole different dimension.
You could shape it in 2 different ways, right? Because in escape, you're forming it as like a positive experience. To me, when I think escape, I'm like, that's the negative experience when it comes to nightlife, right? Because a lot of people use it as an escape from their problems. In your case, I feel like it was a savior for you, right? Because it pulled you away from certain situations and it helped you see a better future for yourself.
For sure.
With you pursuing this own club, what lessons have you learned from other business owners, such as, Underground, somewhere that you were famously promoting for a while?
I just feel like everything needs to be ran the right way and everybody has to be on the same page. I'm not sure what the exact problem at Underground was, but I want to build a team where everybody has the same end goal, which is to provide generational wealth, Somebody once always told me it's not about right now, it's the long run. So if I get a group of 3, 4, maybe 5 people, everybody invest and we become internationally with a international club name, I honestly don't see how we can lose. So that'll provide financial, problems for them, me, whoever. And the biggest part, anybody who I follow on Instagram, anybody who follows me, who has been out with me, they have never said that they had a bad time. They said it was one of the best times of their life. And just knowing that I have that effect on some people, if I had a club, I could have an effect on hundreds of thousands of people.
Do you feel like there's a point where you might rely too much on other people's happiness when searching for your own?
I felt like I was through with that problem last year. I felt like I was trying to make people more happy than I actually was myself. I think honestly, last year, or maybe it was 2022, faced depression for the first time, and it's not a good feeling. I forgot what made me depressed specifically, but I did have the problem of putting other people's happiness over mine. That's why now it's 2024. I have learned to make sure my mental state is okay. I learned how to love myself over people, as long as still making sure that they're happy, but I can't forget about myself, making sure I'm still mentally stable. But yeah, I had that problem and it wasn't good at all.
Why do you feel like you needed to do that?
I felt like I lost myself. And that's the thing about like this nightlife stuff. It's fast. It's a very fast life. I done had trips where I would be in Miami one night, fly across the country to LA, and then finish in Dallas on a Sunday night. I just feel like it's very easy to get lost in that shit, from the money, from just like the what do you call it, jet lag, even from the women. That was a big problem for me when I first started traveling. I wasn't even focused about the money. I was focused about what females I'm gonna meet in this city. And there, females, but it was just everything got caught up with me. It's like a time lapse. It was just moving so slow but so fast, and I just wasn't in the right state of mind.
But why did you feel like you needed to put everybody's happiness over your own, right? Because a lot of the times, all right, like for me, right? A lot of the times I feel like people come here for an experience.
Mhm.
people come to Sad Boy Radio and they want the Sad Boy Radio experience. They want to be inside the room that they see on fucking Instagram and they want to be like, oh, I want to go viral. I want to have this happen and this happen. And it's like, I put a lot into this. I have to sit down and I have to research for X amount of hours. I have to structure these outlines, right? It's not just like I pick random questions and I'm asking you and I'm picking off of that. I really know what you're going to say at the next point and have a question ready for that. And if that's not the answer you gave me, I already have a different question ready to go. And at times I was interviewing people because they had a name, because they had clout, not because I wanted to interview them. And when you do that, you start to not like the product because you're only talking to these people because they have clout or whatever it may be. And recently, like when we scheduled this one, I was like, man, fuck that. Like, I'm going to just start interviewing whoever the fuck I want because for a long time, we were only interviewing artists. And I was like, all right, that's cool. Like, I fuck with artists. I love what they got going on. But at the same time, like, when we started growing, like, it was off of Nightlife too, right? Like, we had the Drip interview. We had the Inez interview. We had the Santos interview. Like, we were doing all these Nightlife interviews, and that's what really popped it off. So I was like, damn, bro, like, sometimes I don't want to have to sit down and talk about, like, what's happened. Like, I don't even want to say that because some people might take it wrong. But sometimes I just want to have a different type of conversation. Like, let's talk about what happened at the club and what the fuck is going on with you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
So why did you feel the need to put everybody's happiness over your own?
I was living in the moment, not in the long run. Like I said earlier, it's not about right now. It's the long run. Where do I see myself in 5 years? Like, how far is this shit really gonna take me? And at that point in time, I was overspending money on people. Say, like, it was one of my female friends' birthday. Say I get XYZ amount of bottles already. I was moving too fast. I would spend more money than I was making at the club, which doesn't make sense at all. And I just got carried away in that. Just for, I would say, like, the approval of others, honestly, just being young. But I'm glad that I honestly shifted back on the right road.
You don't feel like you're searching for people's approval no more?
Not at all. Only approval I need is God and my mom.
All right, so since we're on the topic of your mom real quick, what do you feel like is the biggest lesson she's left you with?
She taught me how to be strong, honestly, She taught me I don't need anybody else's approval. She taught me how to be myself. If I want to do something, put my mind to it. Don't give a fuck what anybody else says and accomplish what I truly want to approve. So that's honestly my inspiration, her. I would say my mom is my biggest inspiration just because I know how hard of a working woman she is. And if she can face with losing her parents at such a young age, my life is way better probably than how her life was growing up. So she just taught me how to be strong, confident, myself. That's, I think, the biggest thing. Just be yourself, follow your dreams, and achieve them.
And that confidence has obviously transferred over. You've been able to follow your dreams, chase them to the farthest ends of where you are right now, being flown out from state to state.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's just a crazy feeling. Like, if I could talk to the 17-year-old me, never would have thought I'd see myself, having exotic cars rented for me, hotels paid for, flights paid for, just to bring out a crowd in a different city at a different club.
How the fuck are you bringing out random people at different cities?
Just like I told you, I was legit scraping up change to afford a flight and a hotel to just be able to connect with.
So you
whoever.
got different people out in different cities that you're...
That too. It hit different.
It hit different.
It hit different when I do got some connections on each side of the map. But I was just using every networking resource I had to shape me into who I am today. Like, I would know one person in Phoenix, I would scrape up change, fly out there, I would meet 15 people in Phoenix. One could be the daughter of a club owner. One could be a DJ of a club owner.
All right, bro, before we close out, man, you got to give us your real craziest story. Like, what's the wildest shit that you've seen happen?
When I first started traveling, so maybe like 2021, it was like my second, third LA booking. They asked me, do I want a line? And I'm not used to the West Coast, none of this, none of that. I was like, what is that? Shorty pulled it out of her pocket or whatever. It was like, come in the bathroom with me. It was like 5 of them. You know, the whole little credit card shit, this, that, this. That was just crazy. Like 5 dudes walked in after. I don't know what. Fucking insane. Like, it's just crazy how the East Coast people party from the Midwest to the South to the West Coast.
What's the difference?
Coke is like weed on the West Coast. You know, Coke is not that popular over here. Coke is like weed. If you went to a club, y'all two went to a club in LA, Phoenix, Vegas, they would ask you, do you want a line? I don't really like how people feel the need, how they need drugs to have a good time. I think they could have a good time without it, but just being put inside that environment, that's the craziest shit I ever seen. You take a kid, like I said, from Tennessee, who's never seen any of those type of drugs, honestly, because that's not popular where I'm from.
So what's the East Coast like?
Weed, East Coast, I low key count Chicago as the East Coast. Weed, I mean, people do pills and shit, but West Coast is strictly coke.
I don't think that story is that crazy, bro.
I don't know. I would say the crazy.
I watched some Mexicans do fucking lines at Rolling Loud in Cali
Bro.
in the crowd.
This life is so repetitive. You see crazy shit, it just becomes normal.
I remember. I can't even say that on camera. Never mind. Never mind. All right. Well, shit, man. I appreciate you sliding today, bro. You got anything you want to plug?
Shout out to Sad Boy Radio for having me, man. Hottest podcast in the city, man. You know, follow him, Sad Boy Radio on Instagram. I just want to thank him for having me. I go by the name of HBK Langston. I appreciate y'all for tuning in.
And make sure you guys go ahead, check out HBK Langston. Make sure you pop out to all his events. Sad Boys for Real. Make sure you go ahead, like, comment, subscribe. Sad Boys for Real. Peace out.
This is Sad Boy Radio.